Welcome to another Unwinding with Fiber and Fabric. We are down to the last few days of Tour de Fleece 2024, and I have just finished spinning my second to last ball of fluff for the 21 colors of the rainbow that I decided to spin for this Tour de Fleece. I have one ball of fluff left, and I'm saving this for the last day, celebrating the famous yellow jerseys of the Tour de France with a yellow spin. But before I can get to spinning this last color, this last ball of fluff, I have a little plying to do. I have a basket. There are 11 bobbins, each containing an ounce, 1 ounce single of yarn. I have some plying. I decided to make a little bit of an adjustment to my original goal. My original goal was to spend the challenge days and the rest days doing, in addition to spinning a single color, I planned to use the rest days and the challenge days to spin, to ply. That was the goal. But all good plans run into, let's say, some flat tires. And in my case, the flat tire, I just ran out of energy and I needed to take my rest days as rest. And I needed to pace myself a little bit, even on the challenge days. However, I've had a last minute burst of energy, and I do believe I should have the ability to ply the 11 colors before I can tell I just finished spinning just before doing this video because I'm still wiping fluff off my face. Oh, the color that I did, it's somewhere in this pile. It was there it is. I'm pretty sure. Let me see. Yep, this is my second to last color. This is the last one I spun just before coming to the video. I love the color. It is a purple. It reads at times a little bit cobalt blue. It was one of my favorites, so I did save it for one of the last ones. But of course, I just can't resist doing yellow in honor of the yellow jerseys of the Tour de France. So this video is going to be uploaded. I believe it's being uploaded on Friday, if I can get it edited in time, sometime on Friday. And then that will give me all day Saturday to ply and all day Sunday to spin my final ball of fluff and to spin it and then ply it and be wrapped up for the Tour de Fleece. So that's what I've been doing. That is my change of plans. I've been trying to think with this. I'm hoping to do maybe a final short video on Sunday with the intent of showing a wrapping up of my fiber. It may have to come out on Monday or Tuesday because depending on how well the plying goes, I would like to actually set the twist before bringing all the fibers to show in a video. So just keep an eye out. If you haven't already subscribed, go ahead and subscribe so you can get a notification if that is your choice, if that's your desire. But I do plan on having a wrap up. And so with the knowledge that I have, that I want to do a wrap up and share all of the colors that I've done. In my last video, I shared, this. What I wanted to do, knowing that I have the desire to share that wrap up, I think this video is going to be a little bit shorter because I was trying to think, what was I going to have as the topic today, other than the change of plans? The laid plans, I had plenty of time to do everything, and I should have been able to do a lot of the plying on the challenge days, on the rest days. But I came in, after doing the last video, I came into this week really fatigued. We reached 100-degree weather with some good amount of humidity, and I just really had to rest. So I have to say, I am extremely proud of myself for having managed to get all of this spinning done and feeling pretty good today. My physical therapy, I think I'm turning a corner on that, and I'm starting to feel energized more than just tired. And that was something that did not happen until after my therapy on Wednesday. Thursday, I felt good. So I'm thinking maybe that I've turned a corner. I am definitely grateful for the little bit drop in temperature. Rain came through, so while the temperature has dropped, the humidity level has spiked again, but I have felt better. So I have high hopes that with some dedication and sitting in front of the TV, I will get all of this plying done. Whether or not I'll get all of it, the twist set, so that I can share it with you in a video on Sunday, or if it needs to wait until Monday, that is yet to be seen. So I wanted to share with you, there was one thing I wanted to kind of share with you in addition to the changing of plans. When I spin, especially in an event like this, the question might be asked, how do I keep it all organized? And the truth is what I do, I have a system where I have these little, I have a little paper punch. I have a little, I punch these little cards. And when I was doing the dye baths for all of these, I wrote up these cards so I would know the color, know that it's Tour de Fleece 20, yeah, that says 2024 on it. And I haven't punched holes in this yet, but I'll punch a hole in this, and that gets woven onto the final skein of yarn. So I have a bunch of bags. Some of them are bread bags. A lot of things like this. These are bags that when different items come into the home that are in plastic bags, I try to recycle bags, especially if they do not have any holes in them. I just keep a collection. So all different sizes and shapes. And I keep these bags and I reuse them from year to year, project to project. And I keep these little tags with the fiber. It is a little difficult when I am washing the fiber and setting it out to dry, but if all else fails, I can always take a safety pin and safety pin this to the area where on the drying rack that I have the fiber. Once the fiber is spun and it's dry, then I just weave an end through, and that becomes the tag. What information do I put on it? I will always try to put the wraps per inch, the date, the in this case, the fiber content, is it a 2-ply or 3-ply? I'll put that information on it. So before I'm done, I will try to have that information on each one of these. What the yardage is, what the wraps per inch is, the Tour de Fleece that I did it, or the other time that I spun it, maybe a date. That's what I will try to put on these little tiny cards. That way, when it goes into a bag and I don't get around to using it for some time, I can remember some of the details without having to recalculate everything. I know what the fiber content is. It makes it great for future projects. And whether it is a couple big skeins, or in my case, 21 small skeins, or 22 if you count the skein that I did before Tour de Fleece to test out the gauge of the fiber. All of that information I'll try to have on these little tags and tiny little writing, and then I keep it with the yarn for the future. So I wanted to just share that because there might be times when I do these videos or I post a picture that you'll see the tags. I do try to keep that information. I try to transfer that information into my Ravelry account, especially when it's a Tour de Fleece or like with Ravelenics coming up. I try to keep a log there of these events so that if people who are, especially people who are watching the videos, can go and look and see. And I will be doing that. I try to keep the color names. Sometimes I'll tell you what brand of dyes I'm using. I try to have that information there to share with you, but in doing the sharing, I'm making a record for myself. And while I'm not terribly concerned about keeping track of all this information for my own use, because to be honest, I either spin something for a shawl, a sweater, or it all ends up as amigurumi, stuffed animal craft fiber. It's one of the two. And if it is a orphan skein, a single skein that doesn't fall into one of those categories that I'm spinning it for, it goes into a grab bag. And that is what, in all truthfulness, I try to find knitters and crocheters out there who will be happy to be handed some of my fiber. I love when I can take Tour de Fleece fiber, especially things that I have spun up for the purpose of sharing the journey. I love when I can take that and pass it on to somebody who may not be a spinner themselves, but who would love to have some hand spun yarn to play around with. I find it is a good way to keep my stash from overflowing just a tiny bit. So I wanted to share that. And as a reminder, I'm spinning a Romney. This is the first Romney fleece I've ever purchased, and I highly recommend it, especially if you're looking for a durable fiber, a mid-range staple length. It's easy to spin. I am enjoying it. I wouldn't, for me, it might be a little coarse for next to skin, especially like the neck or the forehead, you know, so scarf and hat. But I am really enjoying this fiber. I find it surprisingly easy to spin and easy on my hands. Yeah. So while we do tend to gravitate to the really fine wool breeds, especially anyone who watches my channel knows I have a whole stash of California Variegated Mutant CVM. I have a whole bunch of that, and I love spinning it. I love the texture of it. I like to knit with it. I just love everything about it. I have so enjoyed this fiber. I really have enjoyed this fiber. So it's a reminder to me to always remember to try something new. And the thing that makes me chuckle about this Romney, I bought the whole fleece, and it had yellowing from yoke, but it's proving to be very sturdy and strong. No damage, there's no issue with the fiber as far as strength. But it was this monster bag of fleece for something like $25. Then it was all I could do. There were more of them out there. It was all I could do to not just buy a whole bunch of them because I'd never spun it before. But it was a fleece that they were just basically trying to pay for probably the shearing of the sheep by selling it. And I am so glad I took the leap and bought that fiber. It is a delight. I look forward to spinning more of it. I look forward to using it to craft with. And it's just been fun. So if you're interested in trying to deal with a raw fleece, and it's not necessarily something all of us have the energy to do, the facilities to do, the desire to do. If that is something that you're interested in doing, don't hesitate to purchase, especially when the price is right. Don't hesitate to purchase, don't hesitate to try fibers that don't necessarily fall on the ultra fine, ultra soft category. It's a lot of fun spinning these other fibers. Those of you that watch my videos and watched the ones that I've done talking about the Leicester long wool, you will know that's another fiber I love. I love the long staple length. I love how it's so different. It's sometimes more challenging to figure out what knitting or crochet or weaving project that you're going to use these fibers with. But you have to, if you stop thinking of these hand-spun yarns as precious commodities and start thinking of them as something to create a utilitarian item, whether that utilitarian item is socks, hats, scarves, shawls, rugs, wall hangings, bags. If you move away from treating your hand spun as a precious commodity and instead think of it as a practical supply in your supply closet, you may be surprised at the kind of things you will enjoy making when you leave behind the hat, the shawl, the sock, the sweater, and instead move into more durable items. And in my house full of cats, I love having fiber that I'm never going to feel sad about if I knit something up and turn it into a cat bed. I'm going to grab something that I did in a past event. This, and now thinking back, I can't remember what the fiber is. It was slubby, and it had, so there was thick and thin and slubbiness, and it's been felted. So I knit it, then I felted it, and to just show you the construction, I have a languishing UFO in here, but it is a knitted item in which I cast on, much like when you do a toe-up sock. So I cast on all the stitches on the 2 needles, and you increase like a toe-up sock. So if you look into toe-up socks and how you can do, you know, those kind of cast-ons. So I started on the bottom. That is all starting from the knitting, okay, like a toe-up sock. And then I just increased when it came, and I made a tube. I sewed corners into it. I also put a padded, stiffened lining, like a purse fiber. It's a foam that you use in a purse or a bag. And I put that in to stiffen, so it helps hold it up. And it is a bag, but it's also just kind of a little bucket, little pouch that holds that Leicester long wool and a languishing amigurumi from this wonderful, wonderful book. I love the patterns. I have this guy and this guy from the book. And so it's a languishing UFO sitting in this bag that is utilitarian in nature, and it's perfect. It's a perfect project bucket that sits here by my fireplace, out of the way, trying to guilt me into remembering to finish it. It's on my agenda now because my hands are starting to feel better. My shoulder is feeling better. I am making progress. And so it's a reminder, though, that our hand-spun yarns do not always have to be treated as a precious commodity. Yes, I know it is not necessarily an inexpensive hobby, but there is the quality of fibers that we're creating can have a lot of purpose outside of just a small category. Branch out. So that's my message. Change up your plans. Be willing to adapt. Rethink your goals. Whether it is in an event like the Tour de Fleece, or it is with your spinning, consider, and this is one of the things with more and more of the small mills that are out there, more people trying to get our wool into fibers for us to spin. Even if you don't have the situation to scour your own fleece, there are ways sometimes to purchase fleece that has been scoured, or fleece that doesn't fall into the category of these fine, the merinos, alpacas, etc. So you just have to be a little bold, look outside of the standard, check with your suppliers, see if they have it. I know that here in the United States, and they do ship internationally, we have a shop called The Woolery. I'm not promoted by them, nor am I affiliated with them, but I do love them because in addition to selling prepared fibers and spinning wheels and all this wonderful stuff, they do try to source scoured fibers of many different breeds. They are always looking to try to find raw and scoured partial fleeces that they can make available to a larger market who may not be connected to a fiber festival that is associated with breeders in their area. So check in your area. The Woolery is out of Frankfort, Kentucky. As I said, they ship. They do ship internationally to some extent, and there are other suppliers like them. It's just sometimes doing a little bit of research to find either a small breeder that has a shop, or a spinning wheel, weaving, knitting supply store that provides this service. So check, ask around, and maybe you can also switch things up, change things up just a little bit. And maybe not for Tour de Fleece this year because we only have 2 days left, but maybe for next year, or maybe just between now and the next Tour de Fleece. So that is the message. Be comfortable changing your plans, changing your routine, switching things up, trying something different, adjusting when adjustment is needed. All right, well, let's wrap this up for this video. As I said, keep an eye out. I should have a Tour de Fleece wrap-up coming sometime soon. If all goes well, it will be in the next few days. If not, look at the end of this upcoming week. If I haven't got a video out on Sunday or Monday, look again, probably towards Friday, because it is just a little easier for me to have my videos either post on Friday or Saturday. So we'll see. We'll just have to wait and see. I don't know what the next 48 hours will bring. So I hope that it is going well for you. I hope that you are unwinding with some fiber and fabric, whether you're a spinner or you are into other crafts and you are joining us for this Tour de Fleece. Thank you for tuning in until the end of this video. We will see you again soon. Until then, happy crafting.